what makes you tick? What are your fears? What are your hopes? How can I support you? How can I be there for you? How can we be more connected? For me, personally, I like to seek out deeper connections. I want to know more than the standard surface response of how you're doing right now in this moment. I want to know more about what makes you tick. What are your fears? What are your hopes? How can I support you? How can I be there for you? How can we be more connected and aware of each other and our life experiences? When I'm going to chit chat with one of my siblings, I often schedule 2 hours because I would rather make sure that I have plenty of time to dive deeper and really understand where they're at in life than something in a 5-minute phone call won't necessarily allow. So I will literally make an appointment on my calendar so that I get to really spend that time with them. Coffee, tea, a lunch date, 2 hours is rarely often long enough because I really want to dive into whoever I'm with and talk with them. And yet we squeeze those in because I really want to have those. I want to build the relationships that I have and continue connecting and making them even stronger, because the support that we receive from each other is a beautiful form of self-care that I cherish and I'm so grateful for. Lately, I've been meeting a lot of new people, and that means I want to dive deeper into how they tick, where they came from, what was their life like, who are they? Would we really mesh as good friends and we could build even more support and network with each other? And that means that you have to get past the masks being on and the show. It's the 30-second elevator pitch that we continually repeat in these arenas so that we can find out if there's anybody that we want to connect with further. And you have to get past that. So then you plan a lunch date or you plan coffee. And now what are you going to talk about? Because you want to connect, but how do you do that? And I've been reaching into my bag of tricks, and in my bag of tricks are these illuminating connection cards. And we put them together because we wanted to help people dive more into their own thoughts and feelings and experiences. There are 100 different questions that cover a lot of different topics. And so they've come in handy on multiple occasions. The questions that we decided to put in there cover every single aspect of life. And not only like you can ask these questions and you can skim the surface and say and give short answers, or you can really settle in and talk about what's underneath that surface and how it creates who you are and feeds into your own nature. So our deck covers topics like your core personal beliefs, how you came about them. It covers what you love in your life and what you maybe prefer to change. It covers sex and intimacy. And yes, they are two very different things that also feed into each other. What do you think? Where are you at with that? There are questions about your financial goals, your financial beliefs. How did you come about those? How did they change? Your end-of-life thoughts and planning, and not to mention spirituality and religion. Did you grow up with it or not? And what are your current feelings and opinions on that? I gave a deck of these cards to an old friend and asked him to play around and see what he thought. And he was like, yeah, sure. He'd been with his partner for a very long time and he was basically doing them to be supportive of me. And I was very grateful that he was willing to do that. They talk about everything under the sun. They're a very open couple. He was surprised because while they had talked about childhood, the way that some of the questions were phrased made them talk a little bit more about a specific experience that really fed into their personal nature today. It really helped them uncover more and get to know each other more just because of the nature of sitting down and doing the cards and the way that the questions were asked. I had another friend, she was going on a road trip and she was going to spend an entire week with a few people. She only knew one of them. She knew her boyfriend, not the rest of the group. And she was really, what am I going to do? And how am I going to really connect with these people that I don't know and make it a little bit easier. So she took this deck of cards with her. The cool thing about her weekend or her week with these people was she would pull cards out every now and then, and some people would stay on the surface and other people would really expand on their thoughts, and it brought up great conversation and discussions about different aspects of life and where people were at. She came away from that week with a few new friends because they were willing to go deeper and because they were willing to open up and take off the mask a little bit. It was interesting and beautiful, and she was really grateful for that opportunity to have a new way to invite people to open up. That wasn't affronting or confronting. It was literally just an invitation. Hey, would you like to? And you can answer more or you can answer less. It doesn't matter. I'm telling you, they've been great and people love them. And I would love for you to have them as well so that you can explore more about the relationships that you're in. One more person. She told me that she took these on a date with her fiance. They've been together a while. They're engaged. They're excited. They're planning their wedding. In a 2-hour dinner, they only got through 5 questions. And that's because they took the time to learn more about each other. Illuminating connection. This deck is a fantastic asset to have, especially if you want to go a little bit more. Let's peel back a couple more layers and see what more we can learn about each other.